Welcome, friends, to First Universalist Church. It's so good to be together. My name is Jen Crow. I'm one of your co-senior ministers here at First Universalist. And today I'm coming to you not just from my house, like we all are, as we're trying to pay attention to the governor's request that we stay put so that we can help better take care of each other. But I'm also coming to you from a place I never expected to lead worship from, which is here in my very own bedroom. So I'm here in my bedroom because earlier, oh, wait, what? A special announcement? What? Oh, hey, thanks you guys. I wonder what this is. Oh, wait a minute. It's word from the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. This is the body of the Unitarian Universalist Association that kind of vets ministers to be and says whether or not they're going to be welcomed into fellowship and can be ordained as a Unitarian Universalist minister. And oh my gosh, this paper, do you know what it says? It says that Arif Mamdani has been welcomed into fellowship. You guys, this just happened yesterday. Special delivery. Top secret, not a secret anymore. Yay! Arif, we're so delighted that you have been welcomed into fellowship and that we will be able to participate in some way in the soon future, I hope, in your ordination, and at that point be able to call you Reverend. But we're so delighted, and we of course knew this was going to happen because you are already our minister, and we are already so very proud of you and all that you have done and will do. So I see the love coming in through the chat. I feel it being beamed to you, and so much pride and happiness for you. So thanks for that special announcement, Mitchell Crow kids, busting in your bandit attire. We appreciate it. And I'll go back to welcoming us to this time and space. So I wanted to let you know that I'm coming to you from my bedroom this week because a little over a week ago, I visited with someone from church who has been confirmed to have COVID-19 and is in the hospital, we hope recovering. And of course, we are sending our love to them, most importantly, and their family this morning. And on the recommendation of my doctor, I'm gonna stay put in my bedroom for 14 days post-exposure, as I've been asked to do. And I just want you to know I'm feeling well and super glad to be together today. And you know, I've been dying to say to you, live from my bedroom, it's Sunday morning. Welcome to First Universalist. So you're gonna have me goofy because I'm on my own. So we are creating space together today, not just here, but in many other ways too. So you can join us after the worship service for coffee hour with Arif. If you are in 10th to 12th grade, you can join us for youth group with Emma and the senior high advisors. If you have a kiddo who's birth to first grade, you can join our young children's family story time with Seth at 12:30. And I hope you'll all come back and join us at 1 for our congregational meeting about the building renovations that have been scheduled to start this summer. So you can find all these links in the email that was sent out to you last night, or on my Facebook page or the church Facebook page. The building renovation link is not in there. That was an oversight. So you can find that in the Liberal, which you can also find on our website if you don't have that in your inbox. So there will be so many opportunities to connect throughout the day today and also throughout the week. We hope that you'll take advantage of those so that we can connect and stay grounded and care for one another in these difficult times. So also, we want to know who you are and how you are, how you're doing and how you can help or how we can help you. So please, if you haven't already, fill out our resources and needs survey that you've seen come through on your email or in the Liberal. We've had so many folks fill that out already. And as your needs change, please fill it out again. We really want to be able to be there for each other and to help one another in these times in particular. So I want to share a word as well about annual giving. So we are in the middle of our annual giving drive. What amazing timing, right? What could be better? But this actually is a great time to support the work of the church, to let us know how you might be able to support the church financially in the upcoming fiscal year that starts on July 1st. There are a couple of things that haven't changed, even in this time where so much has changed. So here are two things that really haven't changed at all. Our primary source of income as a church is your gifts, especially with not being able to have a tenant in the building for the foreseeable future due to renovations and the virus. Really, our primary source of income is your gifts. That's what we've got. And then the primary source of our expenses is our staff. And honestly, we need each other more than ever. We need to be able to reach you and to help create circles of care and connection. So we hope that we will be one of the places you choose to share your resources if you have them to share this year. So please take a moment and let Chelsea, our finance assistant, know what your intentions are with your annual gift that starts July 1st and runs through June 30th. You can reach her at church, look for her on our website, make your annual gift online, or just send her an email directly at chelsea@firstuniv.org. We really appreciate your gifts. We need each other even more in this time than we ever have. If you are new to us, we want to extend a very special welcome to you. Please go ahead, if you're willing, and let us know who you are in our chat box. And if you want to, let us know what made you decide to come to church this morning. It'd be so great to get to know you a little bit better. And if you are visiting with us or have been a member for many, many years, we're so glad that each and every one of you is here with us today. So, who are we, friends, and what are we about? We are a church that is the people of love and hope. This is who we've been for the last 176 years, and it's who we are today. We are the people of love and hope who welcome, affirm, and protect the light in each human heart. We are the people who listen deeply to where love is calling us next. We are the people who act with bravery and humility and compassion in service to justice. We do all of this as a faith community deeply committed to racial justice. This is who we are. This is what we're about. This is the life we invite you into together, now more than ever. We're so glad you're here. So let's take a moment for a deep couple of breaths together. For those of you who have been with us before, this will be familiar. It's a great way to get grounded. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable in your seat, wherever you are, or if you're standing or laying down. And what we're going to do is take 3 deep breaths together, with a super deep breath on the inhale and a super slow breath on the exhale. Here we go. Deep breath in. Super slow breath out. Deep breath in. Super slow breath out. One more. Full breath in. Super slow breath out. Thank you for that. Now I invite you to gather up a candle and a match or a chalice and a lighter, or to just bring that image into your own mind. I'm getting my own candle and lighter here. And we're going to join together for the chalice lighting, and I'm going to turn it over to Knut and Spencer.
Please join me for the words of the lighting of the chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Gosh, I sure wish that I could have the children of First Universalist lead or help me lead what I'm going to share with you this morning, because they are very familiar with the ritual I'm going to talk with you about, our ritual of sharing joys and concerns. In religious education classes and children's chapels, all the way from preschool all the way up through senior high, usually right after we light the chalice, we take time to share what's in our hearts. And each class has their own way of doing this. Our kids who have been in 2nd through 5th grade children's chapel will recognize this vase of water. When we share our joys and concerns in children's chapel, we will choose a stone to represent what we have shared, and we'll drop it. We'll drop it into that jar, and we say that that water is a symbol of the community that our joy and concern is being held by. When I meet in an adult group that I get to be in with my Wellspring folks, we use this beautiful bowl filled with sand, and we light a candle for each joy or concern that we share, and we plant it in there, and then they burn down while we're having the rest of our time together. The sixth graders have a really creative way of sharing their joys and concerns that I want to share with you. They have these battery-operated candles, and when they get their turn with the remote, they share their joy or concern, and they change the color to match something that symbolizes kind of the feeling of what they're sharing with the group. Now, we do this to get reconnected, but there's kind of a deeper reason to it as well. As Unitarian Universalists, we have faith in the saving potential of our relationships with one another. We believe we are what we've got. And our religion recognizes that we're all connected in this giant web, and what happens to one of us affects all of us. So only by caring for one another will any of us get to live in a just and compassionate world. In our church, we share our questions, our struggles, our hopes and our doubts, our joys and concerns, so we can practice listening to ourselves and to one another, and so we can support one another in living good and meaningful lives. Now, I have experienced and seen firsthand, and probably you have too, something kind of magical that happens when we share our joys and concerns, when we say them out loud to someone who listens really well. Our joys expand and get bigger, and our sorrows get a little bit smaller, even if just a little. And that to me is proof that this is what we are built to do. I think that sharing what's in our hearts with people we trust is what our DNA has designed us to do. Life is complicated and challenging, and sometimes we feel angry or sad or lonely or bored, and sometimes bad things happen that we can't do anything to fix. But we can turn to one another and share what we feel. And we can listen to how others feel to help make their joy bigger or their sorrow smaller. And as we listen, we learn what we need, we learn what they need. We begin to have a deeper understanding of what the world needs and how we may be part of sort of making it just a better place for everyone. Sharing what's going on inside of us is brave and sometimes hard, and always holy. It can be done in person, it can be done on the phone, it can be done over Zoom. Kids, maybe you can help your family by finding some tools around the house to use in your own family ritual, something as simple as a jar of water, maybe a few special stones that you find out on your walk can be a tradition that you bring home. When we're in unfamiliar territory, these familiar, simple, deep rituals have extra power. So bring it on home, my people, and we'll be with you in spirit. Now we have the gift of a song with Seth.
All right, my friends, sing along with me at home if you know it. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me, call me, call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. One more time, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Thank you so much, Seth. First, I invite you to finish taking that song in with me. That was so wonderful. Friends, and such a gift. Yeah, music opens us up. It opens our hearts up. It helps release tears, release all the things that get stuck in our bodies. And so as we come into this time of prayer, friends, I invite you to come into your bodies a little bit more. You can put down what you're holding. If you're joining us on a phone, maybe put it on speakerphone. If you're on a tablet, set it down. The journey of prayer is an inward one. There's not a lot to see. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes so that you might feel into all of your feelings more clearly. And to help us come into our bodies together, let's do this breathing practice that Reverend Jen has taught us and that we've been doing together these last several weeks, and that I was for sure doing before and during my interview with the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. So again, it's a deep, 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 full breath in, and then it's a long, slow breath out like you're blowing out a balloon. So let's do this together 3 times. Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Deep, deep breath in. And a long, slow breath out. And one last time. Deep breath in. And a long, slow breath out. And as you let your breathing return to normal, feel yourself settling into your body. Let yourself notice the feelings that arise. Pressure from the seat you're in, coolness in your hands. Maybe you notice some aches or pains somewhere. And notice what you feel in your heart. This place of feeling where we might feel open or tight or low, where we might feel gladness or sadness or worry or doubt or faith. Invite all of the feelings into this space of connection, this space of shared silence that bridges all distance. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Help us in these slow moving days to breathe deep and remember that this too shall end. When we get caught in worry, stressed out from too much, when sharp words escape our lips, when resentment visits our hearts, help us to remember the truth that is change. In these days of cold and rain, help us to remember that spring does not often come gentle, but always comes bearing flowers. Help us to remember that nature's resilience is our resilience. That even now the flowers of our hearts are unfolding into beauty that we cannot imagine. Help us to breathe deep and remember. This morning, as we share our sorrows and our joys, the many we are holding in our hearts, let us hold the words of Og Mandino. I will love the light, for it shows me the way, yet I will endure the darkness because it shows me the stars. Let us share all those we are holding and perhaps lift a prayer for ourselves, knowing that even in the darkness, stars are shining. I invite you to type in the chat the sorrows you are carrying today. Note that you can choose to send them to the panelists or to everyone depending on the choice that you make in that drop-down box. And if you're joining us on the phone, I invite you into a time of silent meditation. We hold all this as a community in love and care, and we send our love. And even in the midst of times that are so sad and so scary for so many of us, the flowers of joy are breaking through as well. And I invite you now, if you'd like, to share something you're feeling joyful about, something you're grateful for over in the chat box, so we can hold these joys in love. It's beautiful how quickly the joys are coming, like a waterfall. The games we're playing with each other, the resilience, no more fear of missing out, that the grass is turning green, that seeds are sprouting, that we are in church from our beds, from our couches, in our pajamas. Joy and gratitude for our elected leaders, their wisdom. So much joy. So much joy. So much gratitude for you all. May we continue looking for the joy and the gratitude that will sustain us in these times. I invite you to join me in one more deep breath. May the grip of addiction be loosened. May the weight of oppression be lightened. May grief be shared. May joy break through. And may love make every suffering bearable for us all. Amen.
Please join me in singing Spirit of Life and let it open your heart. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, bringing life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I am so very grateful for each of you. You probably can't tell, but there are 512 of you out there. I'm so grateful for everybody on our team at First Universalist. Reverend Justin sends his love all the way from New Zealand. Reverend Karen sending her love from her living room. I know Franco and Randy are out there watching, and so is the rest of our staff team. We're so grateful to be with you, to have these familiar faces and rituals during this time. Friends, I don't know if you've noticed, but over the last year, we have begun ending our time of cycle of life, our prayer and meditation with the same words every week. Maybe you know them by heart now too. May the grip of addiction be loosened. May the weight of oppression be lightened. May grief be shared. May joy break through. And may love make every suffering bearable for us all. I've been thinking a lot about that last phrase of the way we close our prayer time together each week. May love make every suffering bearable for us all. That line was inspired by a quote that Lauren says all the time. Maybe you've heard it. The quote actually comes from the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams. And the exact quote goes like this: truth makes love possible, and love makes truth bearable. Truth makes love possible, and love makes truth bearable. I have been thinking about that so much lately, because in these days, truth feels like a very slippery thing. If I tell you my truth, I do not trust what our national leaders are saying on the whole right now about this virus and its impact. I do trust our state leaders. I trust our governor. I trust our head of the Department of Health. I trust the leaders that I know in this community to be telling us the truth. And the truth they're telling us is really, really hard to hear. They're telling us that a lot of us are going to get sick, and they're telling us that a lot of us are going to recover too. They're telling us that we need to stay physically apart from one another in order to keep each other and our whole community safe. And they're saying this is going to go on for a long time, but they can't tell us exactly how long. That's the truth of it. They're telling us that when our loved ones are sick or dying, or when we are sick or dying, we need to stay physically apart from one another. And this is really, really hard. This is a very hard truth to bear. And I know some of you are already bearing this truth, and our hearts are with you. Our state leaders are telling us these true hard things, and we are listening because we love each other. We love each other so much. And as Universalists, our love extends not just to the people we know, not just to our family and friends and our smaller communities, but to the whole world. Our love extends to each and every person. This is how it's been, like I said, for the whole time of our church and of Universalism. We believe in a love so big that it does not let anybody go. So I have been trying to understand this way of living we have to be in right now as an act of love. And I'm going to show you a picture a friend of mine sent to me this week. Maybe some of you have seen it already too. Here it is. So for those of you who are just with us on audio, this is a handwritten sign that somebody tacked up to a utility pole outside, and it's got some really great words on it. And the words say, "And then the whole world walked inside and shut their doors and said, we will stop it all, everything, to protect our weaker ones, our sicker ones, our older ones. And nothing in the history of humankind ever felt more like love than this." I need to remember that staying apart from one another right now is, in fact, an act of love. It's not how I was taught how to love. It's not how I was taught how to care. But these are different times. And this physical distance we're keeping from one another is an act of love, not just for us, but for our whole community, especially those who might be older or weaker or sicker. Everyone inside our circle of love. So part of the truth right now that is so hard is that we are grieving. We are grieving individually and we are grieving collectively. That is the truth of this time. And it is a very hard truth to bear. So I've been getting some help by doing a little bit of reading this week. And I'm going to share an article with you that I want to suggest that folks who have the ability to read later on. This is from the Harvard Business Review. And it's an interview with David Kessler, who did so much work with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross on grief. And this is an interview with him that talks about the grief that we are experiencing right now and how to bear it. So let me tell you a little bit about it, because I don't want you to read the article right now, even if you might be tempted to. So we can come on back to me, and let me tell you some of what he says that I found really helpful is this understanding that we are grieving both on the micro level and on the macro level. So we are grieving individually in our small but significant ways, and we are grieving as a whole community and really as a whole world right now. And that is a big deal. So individually on the micro level, all of us are grieving the small but significant losses, right? The opportunity to see our friends at school and at work, the opportunity to work for many of us. Some of us were missing planning our proms or our graduations. We're missing all of the regular things of getting to hang out with the people that we love, of getting to just goof off. We're missing so many of those small things. And then on an individual level, we are grieving some very devastating things too. Some of us are grieving lost work. Not all of us are grieving this state of new financial insecurity, perhaps. We're grieving the opportunity to be with our loved ones when they are sick or dying. We're grieving so much that is really hard to bear. And that's just on the micro level. So also on the micro level, those are the things we're experiencing just about every day, but we're also experiencing something called anticipatory grief. So this is very difficult to bear. And this is pre-grieving in some ways. It's worry. It's anticipating the grief that is still to come. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like for ourselves and our families and our world, but we know that there is more loss coming, and we know it's going to be hard. And we are holding that on the individual micro level. So then we expand out, right? Out into the macro level. Now on the macro level, we are experiencing grief, not just in our homes, like I said, not just in our communities, in our church, but really in our state and our nation and in our world. We are holding a collective grief that in many ways is new for us. Certainly communities among us, and certainly the more marginalized communities in our world, have known collective grief before. I think about the gay and lesbian, bisexual, transgender community and the AIDS epidemic, when a whole generation was lost. I think about folks in our country and beyond who endured slavery and the loss of generations. I think about the impact of generational trauma on us all and the ways that this kind of grieving and loss and harm has been done systematically in our society and around the world. Certainly there are groups among us who know what collective grief feels like. And for all of us to feel it at once is something new. I think maybe we touched on it with climate grief, but this is something we are holding now in new and really difficult ways. So it is this micro and it is this macro grief all happening at the same time. And then there is the grief we are anticipating. And it is so much, so much. And it is a truth that is really, really hard to bear. So I've been thinking a lot about how exactly love can make even this suffering bearable in this time and this moment. And I've been thinking back this week to another time in my life when the suffering felt like too much to bear, and trying to remember what helped me then, to see if it might help me and might help us now. So I've been remembering back to a really difficult time in my life, about 9 years ago, a little bit longer. And at that point, my mother had been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She was living in Maryland and I was living in New York. And our daughter was brand new. She was less than 6 months old when we got this word of my mom's illness. And shockingly, the other ministers I was serving with at that time, they were on sabbatical. What? Well, and now I've just dropped my notes. So here we go. You're gonna get to see how much I remember, my friends. So back in that time, that summer, when I had gotten this really, really hard news about my mom's illness, and I was juggling trying to care for my church and my people there, and trying to care for my family at home in New York, and trying to care for my mom down in Maryland, it was a lot. It was a lot to manage. And there was one night in particular when I was there in my childhood home and I was awake, and my mom woke up and she was scared and in pain, and I could hear her yelling for me from the other room. And not surprisingly, when she woke up yelling, it woke up my daughter, and she started crying and yelling. And there I was, feeling myself exhausted and overwhelmed in an impossible situation where I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to both of them at the same time, and they both needed me. And I felt so sad and so overwrought and overwhelmed. And there I was, knowing I wasn't going to be able to be physically with the people that needed me most in that moment. So I took a deep breath and I went to my mom and I helped to settle her down and soothe her. And once I got her settled, I went back to that bedroom in my childhood home and I scooped up my daughter and I put her on my chest and I sat down in the rocking chair in that bedroom and I started rocking her. And I remembered that that was the chair that my mom had probably rocked me in so many years before, that it was the chair that my grandmother had rocked me in so many years before. And sitting there crying, feeling so overwhelmed and so sad about what was happening, not only in that moment, but what I knew was coming as well. I rocked and I started to pray. And I'll tell you my truth, even as a minister, I did not pray to God in that moment because I had a little bit too much of a beef with God in that moment to be finding a whole lot of comfort there. So I went deeper for me and I started praying to my ancestors. And in particular, I started praying to my grandmother, my mother's mother. She had died years before, and she was a source of so much comfort and strength to me and to my family. So I brought her into my mind, and I asked for her help. I asked for her strength and her fierceness. I asked for the tenderness of her love and care. I asked her to come and be with me and be in me. And as sad and overwhelmed as I felt in that moment, I felt her come and be with me. I felt her love. I felt her strength and her courage and her fierceness moving in me, surrounding me and filling up that house. And I asked her to make my hands her hands. I asked her to help me care for my mother and my daughter with the same tenderness she would offer if she was there. I asked to be her hands of love in the world. And I'll tell you, I started to remember then her resilience, that is my resilience, that is our resilience. And I let the circle grow even wider beyond her to everyone who has ever struggled, who has ever loved, who has ever showed bravery and courage and tenderness in trying times. And I asked them all to be with me, to hold me and to help me be their hands of love in the world. And I'll tell you that over the weeks that went on after that, the tasks at hand did not get any more pleasant. The news did not get any better. My mom died, and we did our best. And the love made even that suffering bearable. So, in this time that we are in together now, how might love make even this suffering bearable, even the sufferings that we know are on the way? I've been remembering that time of caring for my mom, of calling on my ancestors, and of drawing the circle wide, well beyond my biological family, to my chosen family, and to all the poets and prophets of the world, and inviting them to live in me. And so one of the things I've been doing this week, and this happened especially good to be my birthday week. So there's this picture that hangs behind me in my new Zoom life on my dresser. And I've been seeing it a whole lot this week. This is my grandma. This is me and my grandma on my 5th birthday. And I'm sure she would not approve of me sharing this particular expression of hers, so widely. But when I look at this, I see her love, and I see her love for me. So this is something that's been helping me. And I wonder if it might help you too. I wonder if there are pictures you might gather up, that you might pull together in an old-fashioned album or make photocopies of, pictures you might put in an album on your phone so that they are with you. Pictures of people that love you and that you love, people that inspire you, so that you can have them with you no matter what is happening, no matter where you are, that you might send them to others that you love so that they might have those pictures with them to help them remember all of the ways that they are loved. And there's been one other thing I've been doing that has been helping me too, and that has been music. So music for me is another way to let beauty in, to let this collective grief and experience be held beyond just my bedroom, and then it comes in to my bedroom. And there's been one particular song that has been just running through my head all week that I want to share with you. It's called Calling All Angels. Maybe some of you know it. And no, it's not the newer version or newer song by Train. It is the old one, the country one. And we'll share the lyrics of that with you here too. So I've been hearing this song play in my head, and I invite you, if you want to later, to find this and to take a listen to. But for me, it's so much, right? So much about what's happening right now, that really it's just one foot and then the other. And we're stepping out on this road or moving down this road, not knowing how much weight are we going to have to carry, for how long, how far, how many losses. We don't know. We can't know. So we call in the angels, we call in the ancestors, we call in the people who have been strong and fierce and tender through unprecedented times before, the people who have shown us love and care and courage. We bring them in and we ask, can we be their hands in this world? How might we offer their love and their tenderness, moving through our hearts and our hands? So that's one of the songs that's helped me this week. And my hope is that you will start finding the songs that help you too. So I'll be curious, what's on your playlist? What's helping you feel collective love and beauty and holding right now? So pictures and music are two of the things that we can do, each of us individually, to help hold our own micro, individual, significant, so important grief, and to hold our macro, collective, whole grief as a community. And we can share them with each other as a way to be together, to share our love, even when we are physically apart. So friends, truth makes love possible, and love makes truth bearable. May our love, our big, big love that extends to each and every human being, may it make even this suffering bearable as we hold on to each other, as we make ourselves into those hands and hearts of love in the world. May it be so. Amen. So friends, one of the ways that we extend our love and care to one another is by sharing what we have with each other and also by receiving what we need from each other. So I know I've told you before about this needs and resources survey, which you can fill out to let us know who you are and how you're doing, what you have to share and what you need. You can also reach out to us directly. So to any of the ministers or staff, if you are struggling, if you're having a hard time, if you or a loved one is ill, or just experiencing all the difficulties that are happening right now, if you're in need of some financial help to help you pay the rent or mortgage, to get your medication, to access the internet, let us know. You have been so generous with us, with our Minister's Emergency Fund, and we are ready to be of assistance to each other. So please let us know what you need. And this morning, I invite you to make a gift, a one-time donation, if you're able, to the church. This church that is supporting each of us, that is offering its care and connection and grounding. This is a great opportunity and a time, if you have the resources to share, to make a one-time donation to the church. So in this time when more of us are sick, when more of us are struggling, when more of us are experiencing all of the insecurity of this time and this world, we need our church more than ever. And like I said before, it's us that funds this church. It's us that makes these ministries possible. There is no other source, no other magic that's happening. It's us sharing what we have so that we can help each other. So I'll remind you too, you can make your one-time donations this way, as you see up on your screen, by texting on your smartphone, texting First Univ to 73256, where you'll get a secure form and you can select offering plate and make a donation. There's the Square Cash app on your smartphone. There's our website for these one-time gifts. And please also take some time, either in this moment or later on today, to let us know about your annual gift to the church too. Like I said, we need each other now more than ever. And while we don't know how long this crisis will last, we know that it's going to last for a long time. And we know that our ministry and our presence with each other and to the larger community is more important now than ever. So please take that time to make your annual gift if you're able, and let us know how you might be able to support the church going forward. We are so important to each other. So friends, I want to remind you there are lots of ways to connect today and later on this week. Today, you can join Arif for a coffee hour. Just make your way on over and you'll actually be able to see each other's faces over there as well and interact, which would be really fun. And don't forget, bring your own mug. This is the one I use every morning. So now you got that. If you're in 10th to 12th grade, I hope you'll join our senior high youth group, which meets today with Emma and the youth advisors. If you have a kiddo who's birthed to first grade, I hope you'll join us for family story time with Seth at 12:30. And all of you, I hope you'll come on back at 1 and join us together for informational meeting about the building renovations that are scheduled to start this summer. I hope you'll also let us know who you are out there so we can stay connected over email and let you know about the other opportunities that are coming up. There are lots of chances for kids and youth, for parents, for adults, for elders to gather over the course of this week ahead for support and connection and care. We hope you'll keep an eye out in your email inbox with the Weekly Liberal on our Facebook page to see more about those opportunities to keep on connecting with one another. So, friends, let's close in what has become our usual way. I invite you to hold out your hands, if you like, to know yourself connected to this larger community of care, to know that your hands are also the hands of your ancestors, with their love and fierceness and tenderness moving in your body in this time. May you know that you are loved. May you share your love with each other and with the world, and may love make every suffering bearable for us all. May it be so. Amen. We'll sing together now. Go now in peace.